Hello everybody, this is Jacob from Wager Me This, and as you can see I have a $500 bankroll out there, 400 in green, 100 in white, not white, in red, sorry, 100 in red, 400 in green. I'm doing this video because a subscriber named Haas asked me to do it. Been a subscriber a really long time, had a lot of great interactions with this guy. He obviously plays with $500 and has access to $10 tables. I don't think I have a $10 table anywhere near me as far as I know, unless it's a place that I just don't go. So I haven't seen a $10 table since Colorado, I would say. I think, but anyway, so we're sitting here. Anyway, we're talking back and forth, and he asked me to do a video based in $500 bankroll, $10 table. Now, something I want to explain about this. This is in a terrible ratio. $500 bankroll, $10 table, essentially 50 bets, right? 50 bets on the boxes, on the lines, whatever, all right, if you did a minimum bet. That I like to look at it in that way. It's very similar to poker, kind of like big blinds, because when you're shooting, if it, you're going to put money down on a line for sure. Anyways, I just think to break it down into how many bets you have matters. Personally, I like to have 100 bets. If you have 100 bets, I feel like you have a good chance of making money. So that's one thing. So not a terrible thing. You got 50 bets. You should be able to do something. Now, but the main thing going into this is, what are you looking for? What are you trying to make? Because if you only have $500, you're playing $10 tables, and most likely you're going to play a lot of minimum bets. It's still going to take you quite a few wins to win $100 or win $200 or whatever it is you're looking for. So the key to me when you're playing these lower stakes is what point are you leaving? What point are you done? And are you successful? Because that matters. Now, if you're putting the 500 on the table and you're just trying to run it up every time, and you don't care if you lose the 500, that's fine. I get that. Totally understand. But try to bust them up. Try to start low, catch a great roll, make a bunch of money. I get that. But if you're trying to build this up from 500 to, let's say you want to get to 1,000, you shouldn't try to do it in one session, in my opinion. I just don't think you're going to be able to do it often enough to matter. You might do it 1 out of 10 sessions where you double your money. A lot easier would be to try to make $100. All right, well then people will be like, well, if I only wanted to make $100, I could just play, 160 across one time or 320 across one time and win 70 and then do it again. Well, you could. You 100% could, but you only have one shot at that with $500 on the 320. Then you don't have 320 again if you miss. So in the mindset of you're going to take your 500 and try to make 100, that's 20% profit, right? Try to go from 500 to 600 is the way I would look at this. Now, I'm going to show 3 things. First thing I'm going to show is how I think people play this. All right, I'm going to show the way I think people play with $500 at a $10 table from what I've seen, my experience, personal doing it a little bit, but and I want to show you why it usually doesn't work. All right. So the first thing is most likely they put a minimum pass line bet down, and then they probably have an ATS of 2-1-2, 2-1-2 on the ATS. We'll use the ATS right here, 2-1-2. All right, so now they have $15 already invested in this, and I want to talk about this 2-1-2 really quick. That's a waste of your money on the bonus, and let me explain why. Because best case scenario, you make even on the best odds, you're only making $250, just under $250. at best case scenario. So if you're only going to spend $5 on the bonus, the better play is to just put it all on. The better play is to just put it all on the all, because at least then you're going to make, you know, 750 or more if it does happen. Now let me explain why playing either the small or the tall at 2-1-2 doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're only winning $60 or maybe $70 if you're at a 34 table. All right, so 2-2, and you have to hit 5 numbers, 5 specific numbers at that, and you have to hit 1/2 of the extremes to just win $60. Where you could take that same money and put it on a parlay on the hard way, right? Let's say you busted that same money into hard ways, just like that. You have a hard way hit. We'll use the lower end one so you can see it. You know, we'll use the 4 of the 10. Let's say the 4 hits, right? You're gonna win $7. If you stack all that up and make that an $8 bet, your next win is hold on, let me do this real quick. That way all right, so here you go. Boom, you hit your hard 4. Bang. You're gonna stack all that up to $8. Now, sorry guys, my eyes are killing me. You're gonna win $56 if you win it again, right? 8, 10, 7. You're gonna win $56. It is a better play to do this as a bonus than to play the sides over there. And let me explain why. I know that hitting back-to-back hard ways is hard to do, but it's hard to make a small or a tall too. And also with this, even though it's 2 1 out of 36s, on the smaller the tall, you still have to hit 1 out of 36, a 2 out of 36, a 3 out of 36, a 4 out of 36, and a 5 out of 36. Right? So it's a better play to avoid 2-1-2. 2-1-2, in my opinion, is a dealer bet. It's something you do for the dealers. All right, so if we're taking my advice and you're not going to do a 2-1-2, but you want to play the bonus, you need to play 5-5-5 at least. Now let me explain why 5-5-5 is so much better. All right. Well, with 5-5-5, you're going to win at least $150 if you hit a side, right? Well, you also have room then to hedge if you want to guarantee money. And that's the way I think the bonus bet should be played, is guaranteeing money. Once you get to a spot where you can play the number both ways for $50, $80, $100, whatever it is you want to play it for, that's why I think it's so much better, because then you don't actually have to hit it to win it. So let me explain what I mean by that. So let's say you have 5-5-5, right? 5-5-5, you get down to just needing, let's say, the 4, right? You just need the 4 for $150. So you can lay that for $70. So at worst you win 35, and at most you win 80. You know, but you don't lose. You can't lose at that point. And since you only had $15 invested in your ATS, you don't actually have to hit the ATS to win on the ATS. And that's, in my opinion, why you need to play the bonus a little bigger as far as ATS is concerned if you're going to do it. Because of that. All right, so back to what we're doing on $10 table. But this is all encompassing in this, because most people that play with 500 and are at a $10 table, they tend to go 2-1-2 instead of 5-5-5 or more. All right. So now let's just get into the gameplay. All right. Most people in this case, this is going to be most people's play is 44 inside. I don't know how many times at a $10 table when I used to see them, I used to see 44 inside, right? So boom, they're going to go. All right. Now, probably after a point. They're going to play their 44 inside. All right, so let's say you set your point. So now you're sitting at 52. This is, as far as light side is concerned, this is about as good as you're going to do. Now you could move the 4, the 5 and the 9 to the 4 and the 10, and I understand that play. It's probably a better play overall to do that. Maybe not at $10, it's not, but if you got to a quarter, it is. But this is a light side setup for this level table minimums as well as your bankroll. This is probably the right setup to start on your light side. You're giving yourself enough combinations to possibly do some stuff and actually get some wins per shooter, but at the same time you're still staying within about 10% of your bankroll per shooter. So this is the way I would probably set up to start. So let's roll some dice. All right. We'll be off on the come out. I just wanted to show you that. I wouldn't play the bonus if I'm just trying to win $100. I know people are gonna want to. I'm not gonna. All right. We'll be off on the come out. Here we go. We got an 11, that's good. Good for us. So here's another thing, and this is for every level of play. What do you do with your come out winners? A lot of people stack them, that's fine. If I was in this instance and I knew I was gonna go from this to this, I would place the 4 or the 10 with that. I would get that extra number. You got the benefit of a come out winner, I would get the extra number. All right, we got a 6, that's our point. So it's gonna work out, you're gonna get all the numbers here, unless you wanna do odds, right? I would choose to do all the numbers. Take my $2 back if you had it set up like that. Now, all right, what do you do here? You ended up with all the numbers, not bad, right? Not a bad deal. For a $52 investment, $54 investment, sorry. You ended up with all the numbers, not bad. Now, as far as gameplay goes, what are we doing? Are we just collecting? If we're only trying to make $100, just collecting actually makes a little sense. But you don't want to go into it with that thought process. You want to go into it with the thought process, your goal is 100, but if you get in a situation where it takes off, that's okay too. So you want to have a takeoff plan. So what I would do is from here, I would collect the first bet, and then after that, I would half press the number that hit. That's what I would do. I'd collect that first one though, just to generate a little profit each shooter. And there's an 8, 6 deuce, 6, 2, 8. It's gonna win $14. All right, rack it up. So now you've at least made 14 on this shooter. $516, $516. So we're gonna hit our point there. No odds, but it was a situational no odds. We used the money on the 4 instead. Not a bad spot. All right, so here we go, coming out. I would be off on the come out. You want to be able to take advantage of your pass line advantage on the come out. I would be off. Ooh, come out 7, very good. All right, so if you're gonna half press, you could half press the line, right? I would just wait though. I would save $5 over and use it for odds, whatever comes up. Oh, 3, there you go. So good thing we didn't reinvest that, right? Yo, 11, got it right back. Interesting, a little back and forth here. All right, same thing, collect 5, but we're gonna save that for odds. 6, 4, 10, there we go. All right, over here on the 10. Put that on the 6. Drop $2, but we got one odds bet here from our last. It's kind of the half press, right? We're still in the same shooter, so that was our half press. Got a little odds on our 10. Remember, we already collected our first bet, so now we're gonna half press. 4. $10 is gonna win 18. Here, I would press it to 20, collect 8. It's roughly half. Six, 4, 10, hit our point. Good shot, shooter. We're gonna win 20, 10 and 10. Not bad. Take this, you know, put it on your 10. Wrap that up for now. Coming out, box numbers are off. 7, very nice. This is a good shooter. $10, rack half, collect half for odds. 6, 2, 8. Pull this down. Remember, we got that for odds now. And we got this. Not bad. Moving right along. Would love to hit that 8. 4. That's a good one too. We're gonna drop $1 for 40. Go up to 40. $6. We're gonna win 14. Press up to 18. Back-to-back 6s, very nice. It's gonna win 21. Drop $1. Take our 6 to 30. Three 6s in a row, very nice. That's $30 win. We're gonna go to 35. Make it look like 30. Add 18, we're gonna rack 17. Which is roughly half. Aces. Six, 4, 10. We're gonna drop $1 for 40. Now at this point, you're definitely, because you've hit twice for 40 and once for 35, so you know you're at your goal. If you were just trying to make $100, you got to keep that in mind. Regress it down, count it up. There's our initial 500 right there. So you're easily $100 or more. You've made your goal. So this is a free roll out here. So you take off, you let it free roll. At this point, you can be as aggressive as you want or as passive as you want. Doesn't make any difference. You've already locked in your profit. Now, did we get lucky on this first shooter? We did. But it's not like it's been just a crazy amount of rolls. It's just happened to hit the 4 and 10 for us, which is all possible. And 4 deuce 6, that would have been a good one, huh? But remember, we were playing for a specific goal, and we've met that. So let's drop $1 for 15. Let's go to 24. And at this point, you can press however you wish. It wouldn't matter. Your free roll. Yo, 11. Free roll action. Yo, 11. Back to back. Three 11s in a row. Wow. What a set of rolls. 6, 2, 8, that's our point. I know we took all them odds off, but guys, we're playing with $500. We were trying to lock up 100. Makes total sense, all right? If you want to do something different, if you want to just lock up your 100, you could separate it out here. Let's do it like that. So you'd have all this extra to use, and if you wanted to really go after it, go after it. You already made your $100. It makes total sense to me, actually, to just take this and or run another run after this shooter. A free roll run. Either way, it makes sense to me. Does it come out 7? Like in this case, maybe you stack it, you know? Had a lot of come out winners. There's an 11, so we did good. We're going to win 20 there. And maybe you don't stack it this time. Maybe you press the outsides with that one. Remember, this is a free roll, so you're doing what you want. If you get the free roll, be aggressive. There's aces, we not lost that, all right? But we ended up stacking up a little more chips out there, and we can go right back down to $10 here out of our profit. There we go, we got a point. And remember, you still got all the money on the board that's profit. There's just so much going on here that's good. In this case, guys, right here, I would drop $3, tell them to move that to the 8, and then I would just put my own odds back here. Probably 2x odds. Go to 20. 5, right back on it, very nice. Gonna win 10 flat, 30 in the back. Added a nickel to the line, made the 5 1/4. Box numbers are off. 6, 4, 10. Bring that strip back here. Six, deuce, 8. That's 18. We're going to get 21. I'm going to take it to 30. There we go. Yo, 11, a lot of 11s in these dice. 4, very nice. So remember, there's 15 on there. It's going to win 27. It's not quite a buy most places. You have to get to 20. So we'll just do it like that. Five, very nice. This is such a good roll. This is not a 6, guys. This is a 5. Here, I would probably press my 6 to 30 instead of the 5. Just because I'd be looking at the board going, this looks pretty good. 6, 3, 9. It's going to win 21. Go to a quarter. $7 out. Pretty good. Pretty good run there to start. Usually, you're not going to walk right up to the table and have your first shooter be awesome, but it does happen. It does happen some. All right, let's just see where we ended up. So we know this is 500, right? So we made at least 100. This is the profit we locked up. So that was our goal. So we made another 100, 135. We made $253 on 500. Locked in our 100, just had a good roll, took advantage of it. But I was going to show 2 more versions of this. I guess I'll have to make it in 3 videos because this took longer than I thought. But no big deal. I'll just make 2 more videos. So not bad at all. Hopefully this is helping Haas. You didn't really see any adversity in this video, which isn't always a good thing if you're trying to figure out what to do. You want to see how it goes bad. We didn't see that here because one roll took so long. But we did see what you can do with a pretty good roll, right? Made half our money again. We were reasonably aggressive. We didn't just sit on our hands. And we also had a regression in there to make sure we had our profit and just made some moves, right? Some come out winners, turned them into some other money. Just did some different things that are effective on the craps table. And at any bankroll size, any denomination, these type of moves are effective. Half pressing, using your come outs to place numbers if you get come out winners, just different things like that are always pretty effective. We stayed away from the bonus here, even though I think we would have hit the small for sure. I don't think I ever saw a 12, but I know I saw a 2 and a 3. So I'm pretty well sure we'd hit the small. So the bonus probably would have hit at least half of it. But either way, what I'm getting at mostly is that if you're playing this small, you got to have a small goal in mind. If it goes longer than that, like this, great. But you can't go in there thinking that you're going to double your money or half your money. You have to have a much smaller goal, and you'll attain that goal more often. Anyways, guys, thank you for your time. This is Jacob from Wager Me This.